minutes. So what kind of challenges are you facing off against? Where is your mentality? What are the things that you're looking to do as this year winds down, as the ability for it to get to the place where we start putting focus in our path, where we're looking at the path and the journey for the next year and where we're looking to go, asking ourselves, has these challenges that we faced off against, these things that we're going through, have they given us the ability to make it through them? Has it given us the ability to focus to that point where nobody else can go? And so, what are some of the challenges that you've gone through as we connect on the Twitter, Instagram, and so forth? We start looking at how this last year actually brought people closer to being themselves, how it brought them closer to facing off against the things that nobody else can for them. And so let's go ahead and visit that a little bit. Let's look at how these challenges, a lot of people have tried to separate them from any other time. They've tried to make them a time when nobody else would feel, so that they could feel sorry for themselves. A lot of us have had those challenges, and a lot of us have had those places that are difficult. But the question we have to ask ourselves truly is one of this. It's the question that we got to ask ourselves is that have you always had challenges? Because we all have. We've all had challenges. We've all have had times when things didn't work out. We've all had times when we felt like giving up. We've had times when things were not working for us. What about the benefits of your mentality? What about the benefits of the ability to be yourself, to see how this is a great time? And actually the challenges that we're facing off against are no different than any other time. And so it's our mentality. It's our ability to focus past our challenges, because we all have challenges. We all have things that are not going to be perfect. We're all going to have things that are not going to work out the way we want it to. And so, how do we work through those challenges? Can you allow yourself to see past the page that you're on? Can you allow yourself to put the tools in place to where you're utilizing what you have inside? Can you focus to the point where you're utilizing the gifts that the Most High gave to you? And each day that we give ourselves that place, that we start to work with our mentality, that we start utilizing what we do have, is a victory. And in daily, the level of positivity that we have is determined by our mentality. It's determined by our ability to continue when other people would just give up. And so, are you on that page with you? Are you getting through those kinds of challenges? Are you utilizing your energy in such a way that the challenges are greater from what's going on inside or radiating outwards? Or is what's going on around you what matters the most? And so the question that we got to start asking ourselves is, what page are we on? Is this world crushing us, or are we allowing the inside to open up? Are we allowing ourselves to use our mentalities? Are we allowing ourselves to use our ability? Are we truly starting to work from within out? And so I remember the time when I had practically nothing. I remember when I had everything and nothing at the same time. I look at that time, I look at that place where nobody else would go. That is what matters, is that you see it for yourself, that you start to focus to that point where you are a blessing in this universe, where you are utilizing the blessings that you have. You are utilizing the focus that you have inside of yourself. Each day that we give ourselves permission to do that, each day that we give ourselves the place to do that. And so, are we doing that for ourselves, or are we allowing the things around us to have a greater stronghold than what we have inside? And so, when we give ourselves that place where we start utilizing what we have, when we give ourselves that place where what is inside is greater than what is going on around us, the mentality has the ability to kick in. It has the ability to start working for you, has the ability to start working with you. And so are you focusing to that point? Are you giving yourself that kind of permission to be who you are? Are you with you on your path, on your journey? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you allowing yourself to go beyond your challenges? And so each of us can say poor me or poor you. And it ain't about that. It's about you versus you. It's about you picking yourself up. It's about you putting your mentality in place where you're utilizing what you have. It's about you giving yourself the place inside where your mentality starts to grow. It's about taking that time for you. It's about setting that space aside for you. It's not going to be for somebody else in the end. It's going to be when you decide to get down with your own challenges. It's going to be when you decide to get to that place inside of you where nobody else will go. And each day that we focus, each day that we sit down with ourselves, that we write stuff down, we put it in front of ourselves, we start speaking our mind. And each of us has a mind. Each of us has challenges. Each of us has a purpose. Each of us has a path. And it's inside of our own paths that we either free ourselves or we stop ourselves. And so are you giving yourself the ability to continue forward at that level? Are you giving yourself the ability to get to the place inside of who you are, that you actually are in the universe? Are you giving yourself the place that you can grow, where you can be who you are? Because a lot of us stop ourselves at the point where we want to be who we are. We stop ourselves at the place where we believe in who we are. We stop ourselves at the ability to go through the challenges that we go through. We stop ourselves at the ability to focus beyond our challenges. And we don't see at a universal level. A lot of people don't give themselves the place in the universe to see that path. They don't give themselves the permission to see that purpose. They don't give themselves the permission to have those kinds of challenges. And it's a blessing to have challenges. It's a blessing to have things that start working for you. It's a blessing to focus to that point where nobody else will go. Because when you do that for you, when you give yourself that place where you sit down with you and you start to focus, you truly start to allow the universe to work through you. It's going to start to ask you the questions that nobody else will. It's going to ask you the questions that nobody else can. It's going to ask you if you want to do this, if you want to become this. It's going to be inside of you that you're going to want to do it. It's going to be inside of you that you're going to have to ask yourself how to do it. It's inside of you that your focus and your mentality will start to work. It's inside of you that the ability to be who you are starts to open up. And each day that we focus, each day that we sit down in front of ourselves, we put the tasks and the things that we want to achieve, the things that we want to become, the mentality that we have inside, and the ability to be who we are, that we can be who we are. And so, are you giving yourself that place to be who you are? Are you giving yourself that place to go through the challenges that you go through? Because each of you that have challenges, each of you will have things that need to be overcome. Each of you are going to have things that nobody else can do for you. And so, as we do that for ourselves, as we give ourselves that place inside, as we give ourselves that place to overcome those kinds of challenges, we start to feel freedom inside. We start to feel the ability to speak our mind. We start to feel the ability to put ourselves in a place of focus, to start to achieve a place where motivation becomes a reflection, where the ability inside of yourself is to be who you are, where the ability inside of yourself is to face off against the things that you face off against, to get to the place where nobody else will go. And each of us have those kinds of challenges. Each of us have those kinds of things that nobody else can do for us. It's inside of the mentality that we can achieve it. You know, there have been people that have achieved amazing things with their mentality. They have achieved amazing things by continuing when other people would just give up. They've achieved things that nobody else can do for them. And so each of us have that place. Each of us have that ability. Each of us have those kinds of challenges. And it's inside of those challenges that we start to ask ourselves that type of question. Is this for me? Can I do this? Can I achieve it? Can I get to the place where nobody else will go? And it's inside of you that you can. It's inside of your challenges that you can go beyond. It's inside of your level of focus where you can manifest. And as you do that for yourself, as you give yourself that place, as you sit down with who you are inside, your level of focus is going to be tested. Your ability to be who you are is going to be tested. Your challenges are not meant to stop you. They're meant to help you to grow. They're meant to help you to understand. They're meant to be there so that you can see the stories in the lessons, so that the challenges can bring you to a place of knowledge, a place of you, a centering of you, a place of understanding, a place where you are who you are. And when we pick positions, when we pick jobs, when we pick professions, we should be searching out for the professions where it's not just for the job, it's for you as well. It's for who you are inside. It's for where you grow as well too. It's where you search for the mentality inside of yourself, where you focus beyond your challenges. And each day that we go to that point, each day that we give ourselves that place, each day that we get to the place where challenges no longer have the ability to stop us, as we focus to that place, as we get down with those kinds of challenges, we are going to be asking ourselves the questions that nobody else can. We're going to be asking ourselves the questions that nobody else wants to ask themselves. And so every day that we do that, every day that we sit down with ourselves, every day that we sit down and study, every day that we sit down and write, every day that we give ourselves just even an hour of our day to put ourselves in a place where our mentality is in place, where our ability is in place, where we sit down and we speak and we write and we sing and we put ourselves in a place where we're using our gifts. Each of you have gifts. It's up for you to not stop yourself. It's up for you to able your mentality. It's up for you to put yourself in the place where you have the ability. It's up for you to put yourself in the place where nothing has the ability to stop you. And it's inside of that place where you live. It's inside of that place where you are who you are. And when people start to know you for who you are, when people truly start to know you for the things that you do, you don't have to change for anybody. You have to be who you are. You have to see the positivity that the things that you do can come through, that the person that you are inside can light up in the universe. And as I sat there and I was selling cars and I was working for Chrysler, I remember there were months that I was getting my butt kicked. I was getting my butt kicked royally. And they were saying to you, compare yourself to somebody else. And I never, ever once compared myself to anybody else, because I remember that the only person that can pick you up is you. The only person that can put you on a level where your mentality is in place is you. Stick behind yourself. Put yourself in a battle not against somebody else, but against yourself. Ask yourself, what is it that you want? What are the places that you want to go? What is it that the mentality that you want to achieve? And as I sat there and I was working with thousands of customers, driving thousands of customers, I remembered that the mentality of focusing on positivity is what it's about. The mentality of putting one's place in a purpose where you focus into the positive, where you see the positive in no matter the situation, where the challenges bring you closer to being yourself. And so each day that we do that for ourselves, each day that we put ourselves in that place, each day that we have a reminder, even when it's filled or not filled with people, that you can do that, you can achieve your dreams. And so are we doing that on a daily? Are we building a community that's doing that? Are we putting ourselves in a place where we are becoming who we are? Are we working through the challenges that, stop other people where you just start? And so on that page, when other people quit, When that page, when other people would just give up, on that page where you truly sit down with yourself, where other people would just throw it in, and you are picking up and you're getting back up and you're putting yourself in the place where nobody else can, that's when it starts to work. That's when the universe starts to become your friend. That's when the universe starts to say, hey, let's pull from the places where you didn't even think existed. And at that point, you open up those chambers in your mind to freedom. You open up those chambers in your mind to the ability that you might just be your best friend. And inside, when we have that best friend, inside when we're on that journey, and when those people are joining us for our own journey, and they see you for your journey, and they see you for your path, they see you for your purpose, and their mentality is hitting that place where those people are brought to them to be with them for who they are inside. That is what the focus, and a lot of people lose that. A lot of people lose the ability to be themselves. They lose the ability to speak their mind. They lose the ability to focus to that point where nobody else will go. And so who has the ability to stop themselves from that except for your mind? The ability for you to sit down with your mind to put yourself in a place where nobody else can. And sometimes that is a place where you just shut the door. It's a place where you just put yourself in a place of silence. It's a place where you put yourself in a place where nobody else can go. And inside of that place where nobody else can go, you might be by yourself. You might be scared to be by yourself in that place. You might be going through a time where you feel like you need other people. You might be going through a time when you don't see that. You don't see the positivity. You might be going through a time where you're not believing in yourself. Focus on that ability. Focus on the person that you are, the ability to be that beauty that you have inside. Look at the positivity. Search after that. Search after that person that already lives inside of you. And as I heard people talking about you need to change this and change that and change this, I started to realize it was them that needed to change. It is the person who sees the positive things and starts to choose positive things for themselves that actually achieves it. And so when one person wants to do things a certain way and another wants to do it that way, is either right or wrong? No. They're either positive or negative. When it works or doesn't work, is it because it's positive or negative? How do you utilize it? So put ourselves in a place where we simplify it. Put ourselves in a place where we put things on positive and negative. Where what we see is positive in our lives. So it's positive in our journeys, positive in our paths. If you're writing stuff down and you're looking and you see the positive and negatives and you put yourself in a place where you can turn those negatives into positives, then the lesson comes out. The ability to see it, the ability to achieve it. And a lot of motivational speakers talk about this. They tell the stories, they tell the journey, they tell the path, but they don't cut it down to the right exact point. And the point is that you got to dominate your life. You got to sit on a page where no matter the challenges you face off against, you are continuing. You are continuing even when it's like a little hammer hitting a wall. You know, if you hit that wall enough times, it will eventually break. But it's got to be happening with you. And sometimes we feel in life we're hitting with a little ping hammer. And we wish we had a sledgehammer. And it isn't because the sledgehammer hit the wall. Because the sledgehammer could hit the hull once and it won't work. It's not till it hits it over and over and over and over again that it breaks through the wall. And that's how breakthroughs in life happen. It's when you see the positivity that no matter if this wall is in front of me, I'm going to break through it. And that's the way that you unlearn walls too. The challenges that we face off against come down to our own level of focus. They come down to our own ability to go past it, to make it through it, to make it through these challenges that we face off against on a daily basis. And how do we do it? How do we get there? When do we get there? It's not for us to see that page. It's for us to know it exists. It's up for us to write it down so it can happen. It's up for us to listen to it so it can become. It's up for us to vibrate it so that vibration attracts it. It's up for us to become to that level of mentality where nobody else can go. Nobody else can achieve but you. Because they weren't willing to pick up that ping hammer and to hit that wall over and over and over again like you. When you're willing to do that, when you're willing to continue, when they call you crazy for talking about focus for 30 minutes, when yet other people end at 27, Is it in a place where you see 100 views? Is it in a place where you see 1,000 views? Is it in a place where you put yourself in a place where nobody else is willing to go? And that's what it's about. It's about you continuing even when there's 1 or 1 million people in front of you. After all, it's 1 to equal 1 million. So how do you go from 1 to 1 million unless you have each individual? Unless you have each individual's mentality, unless you have each individual's gifts. Ask yourself that question. It's about time we start freeing our mind. It's about time we start seeing that there's no difference between today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Because always we will have difficulties. Always we will have people that have had challenges. It's in seeing the positivity in our challenges. It's in seeing the mentality in the reflection of your level of focus that lets other people see the reflection of motivation. So when I hear people say they can't be motivated, they can't be this, how do you become motivated? Focus to the point where it ain't even about motivation. Let other people call you motivated. Let them call you a reflection. Let them call you a mentality. Let them call you who you already are, a daughter and a son of the Most High God. That you are a gift and a tool in this universe. That this universe has the ability to use your tool, your path, your journey. That the energy in the universe literally flows inside of you. Do you recognize that? Your energy inside is you. That is a part of you. As Einstein stated, mass and energy are interchangeable, which means that you are mass and energy, and you are interchangeable in your mentality. So as we put ourselves in that place where we think to that point where nobody else can go, where no one else can achieve, that's where you start to sit down with yourself, and no matter what collapses around you, as long as you have yourself, you have your breath, you have your mentality, you have your level of focus, the ability to have an able mentality starts to come out. And we have seen people time and time again that have lost everything and started over and got on top of their world, got on top of their being, got on top of their vibration. And I'd like to call those people out. I'd like to let them know that we recognize you. If you've lost everything and picked yourself back up, if you've put yourself in a place where you see beyond it. And so when do we see beyond our challenges? When do we see to the point inside of ourselves where we focus to that point where the reflection radiates, where the reflection is? As we see motivation, meditation, inspiration as a reflection of focus, knowledge, and discipline. Each part of who you are is that. Ask yourself that question. Am I focused? Am I in a place where I'm so focused that the reflection is not a surprise? Where the being inside is a reflection, where what I'm focused on becomes. Each day that we do that for ourselves, each day that we give ourselves that permission to wake up. Wake up as who you are. Wake up as the person that you want to become. Wake up as the mentality that you have inside. Wake up as the ability inside of who you are. Focusing to the point where nobody else can go. What a blessing it is. What a blessing it is to have challenges. What a blessing it is to have an ability inside of ourselves. What a blessing it is for us to go through the things that nobody else can, to get to the places where nobody else can, to get to the things that nobody else can do. Nobody else can live your life. Nobody else has the ability to go through your challenges. They are your challenges. They are for you to see the positive in them. They are there for you to gain the knowledge from, to get to the place where they no longer have the ability to stop you. And it's inside of those people who dominate this. It's inside of those people that are so focused that nobody else can stop them. That point of so focused where the tools in the universe start working for them, where fears move out of the way, where emotions move out of the way, where knowledge becomes a place of heating up the tools that you already have. Are you seeing that for yourself? Are you using your own tools? Are you using your own level of focus? Are you using your ability? And yeah, sure, sometimes there might not be anybody viewing you. And then you look back and there's over 100 people that viewed you. How about 1,000? And I could see it. Years from now, I can see people listening to this video. I could see them hearing this on the multiple platforms. I could see them being uplifted. I could see those people whose companions left them and are manifesting those people that are meant to be in their lives. I could see them being uplifted to the point where they are achieving it for themselves years from now. It's only 2020. What about 2030? What about when you wake up inside of you and you say to yourself, let's do this, let's get on this page with who we already are? And each day, each place, you want to talk about professions. Look at how you change your mentality. You want to get a position, look at how you are right for the position inside of yourself. If those people meet up with your mentality, searching out for those types of things, searching out for the ability for you to be who you are, to be with the people around you that you want to be with you. And so, how do you get there for you unless you are honest with yourself? How do you get there for you unless you become what you already are? How do you get there for you unless you speak your mind? And it's a lot more than just what other people would call it. It's when you become a student of your life. It's when you sit down with you and you start to study yourself. It's when you write down your goals. It's when you write down what's positive and negative in your day. It's when you give yourself the place to focus to that point. It's when you use the gifts that you have. Because each of you have gifts. Each of you have a place when you do these things, when you focus to that level, you gain the billionaire's mentality. The billionaire's mentality is the ability to do only the things that bring you to a place where you're focusing on the path in which you want to be on. When you're focusing on the path that you want to be on, the things in life are going to test you. They're going to ask you, do you want to see if this can happen? And it's up for you to see the positive in that. It's up for you to see the positive in that ability. It's up for you to see the positive in those kinds of challenges. And it's up for you to challenge yourself to that level where nobody else will go, where nobody else will go for you, until the point where the reflection radiates outwards from within you. You know, I have seen multiple motivational speakers talk about dominating your mentality. How about dominating your level of focus? How about getting to the place where you're so focused to where if you want this thing, other people are not surprised because you put in the time, you put in the work, you put in the level of focus to get to that place. You put in the time that nobody else would do. You put in the time to get to the place. I can think of a perfect example. I could think of a Gary Vee who continued to put out videos for 1,000 videos in a row with this kind of mentality to achieve the place that he achieved. That is what we're talking about. We're talking about a practice called motivation, a practice called a reflection of motivation. We're talking about an ability for you to be who you are, to where the things that happen around you are not a surprise. We're talking about a level of focus to go to the place where nobody else can go, so you can achieve the things that nobody else can achieve. We're talking about a place where that tool of focus becomes your path, it becomes your journey, and where you start to dominate that place inside of yourself, where even when everything is working against you, it's actually working for you. I remember being inside the sauna and going from the stage where I believed that things on the outside were greater than what was on the inside, loving somebody more than I loved myself. And I remember reaching to that level of practice where what inside mattered the most, where one becomes the best friend with themselves, where one becomes the best friend with their path, where one becomes the best friend with their purpose, where their challenges that they have. To become the teacher of oneself is to understand that we are the greatest students in our lives. Each of us has a beautiful life. Each of us has beautiful challenges. Each of us has the abilities to overcome our challenges when we're willing to utilize the practice of focus. And each of us has that page. We don't use it all the time. We don't put ourselves in the place where we see this motivation in our daily, where we see this in our mentality, where we see this in the ability inside of ourselves, where we sit down with our own practice and we become who we already are. And as I was sitting inside of this sauna, people were coming up to me and asking me how I learned this practice. It's inside of the mind. It's inside of the ability inside of ourselves. You are your best teacher. You are also your best student. But you must get to that place where you ask yourself the question nobody else will. How long have you been on the face of the planet? How long have you been neglecting your own practice? How long have you neglecting your own self? How long have you been neglecting your own energy inside of you? And as we ask ourselves those types of questions, we start to stimulate the energy inside of ourselves. We start to stimulate the being, the human being which we are. That ability inside of ourselves to be that centerpiece, to be that mass, to be that energy, to be that place of focus, that place where you have a centering inside of yourself, where you are you. Each day that we do that for ourselves, that we wake up, that we get inside of who we are, that we focus to the point inside of who we are, we focus past our challenges, past the things that are inside of who you are. Who you truly are on the inside is a light. Who you are is truly on the inside is knowledge. And it's up for you to use the tool of focus to extract that knowledge, to get to the place where you heat up with your breath, where you heat up with your journey, where you become present inside of yourself, where you become present in your mentality, where you become present in your being, where you voice yourself, where you see with the depth perception of your being, where you utilize your nervous system. Each of us has this place, this kind of knowledge, this kind of reflection. And it's up for us to share it. It's up for us to become it. It's up for us to start to understand that the student inside of us, connected to that being that you already are, is to be present and to utilize mass and energy that you already have. Are we doing that for ourselves, or are we stopping who we are? Are we doing that inside of who we are? Are we getting to that place where we becoming that best student, where we are having that kind of patience with ourselves, where we are sitting down with who we are on the inside, where we're having that message where other people search out somebody else instead of search out who they are on the inside? And a lot of people have known this. One of the biggest keys to answer this question came from one of my inspirations. And I mean a knowledge and focus connection. Got to the place where the ripples are still left on the face of the planet. One Bruce Lee, who understood that when you take yourself out of the picture and you are still there, he answered the question in such a way. He said, when I am fighting, I feel like I'm fighting in the third person, because I am going beyond this. I'm getting to the place where focus and knowledge is beyond focus, and knowledge beyond knowledge, the understanding of one's being, the understanding of one's purpose. And he was asked, students come to me to learn martial arts. Students come to me to learn how to be who they are. They ultimately are coming to me to learn to study themselves. And so when do we give ourselves permission to not need to change? When do we give ourselves permission to look at the positivity, to become who we are inside, to gain the lessons, those things that people live themselves on levels of elevation? They don't allow themselves to get to the point where the lessons come out, where they go beyond the emotion. They start to see the positive things. They start to see the positive people in their lives. They start to see that their journey is your own. That is up for you to find. That is up for you to achieve. That is up for you to understand your own path, your own journey. Nobody else will do it for you. They're not meant to. They are not meant to understand your journey. They are not meant to be your path. You are meant to be your path. You are meant to have your challenges. You are meant to be the being that you are. You are also meant to gain the knowledge, the freedom to accept the challenges that you have faced off against daily. And it's inside of you that you have that place. It's inside of you that knowledge frees you. It's inside of you that you get to the point where you become who you are. It's inside of you that you have the ability to make it past your challenges. It's inside of you that you can have liberation. It's inside of you that you go to that place where nobody else can go. And so, are we focusing to that point where we give ourselves that place where you no longer have those challenges? Where you focus to that place where you achieve it, where you focus to that place where you become it. And so each day that we do that for ourselves, each day that we give ourselves the mentality that it takes, each day that we have the permission inside of ourselves to get down with our challenges, gains the access to that teacher inside of you. It gains the access to that ability inside of ourselves, gains the access to who we truly are, to who we want to become. Each day that we give ourselves that place where nobody else is willing to go. And it's going to take you being patient with yourself. Look at it like this. When you're learning meditation, which is self-study, it's nothing more than self-study and understanding the energy inside of oneself, gaining access to the knowledge, to have an understanding of what's inside of you, to have an understanding of the energy inside of you. When we start to gain that kind of understanding inside of ourselves, it's not going to come from a teacher on the outside. And that's what a lot of people search out. A lot of people are searching for somebody else to do it. They're searching for somebody else to teach it. And it's as simple as you sitting down with yourself and learning about the energy inside of you. It's about gaining that place inside of yourself where nobody else can go. It's getting to that place where you start to focus beyond your challenges, where you start to understand your knowledge becomes your teacher, where your knowledge becomes your expansion, where those freedoms start to open themselves up, where you start to unslave the chains inside of yourself that you have. It's inside of that place inside of yourself where you are either free or a slave in your own mentality. And each energy field has a relation to your energy and to your mentality, to your vibration, to your being, to your place inside of you, and to your level of focus. And so, as we do that for ourselves, that's when we free ourselves. It's hitting a place beyond fight and flight, beyond slavery and emotion, beyond time and organization, to the place of focus and knowledge. Are you there with you where you're gaining that place where the focus is giving you the ability to access your knowledge inside of you? Or have you stopped yourself from your own knowledge? Have you stopped yourself from your own ability? Have you gotten to the place inside of yourself where you have permission to be who you are, where your focus is to be you? And it's with that kind of liberation that you become your best friend, that your knowledge inside starts to fill you with light. It's at that point where you give yourself that place where you're free to be who you are. where you're free to be who you are on the inside. And so, are we doing that for ourselves where nobody else can do it? Are we giving ourselves that place where nobody else can go? And so, our mentality has the ability. Our mentality has the challenges. And our mentality gives us the ability to have the understanding. And to all meditators out there, they're searching for the understanding within oneself's knowledge, to gain the access to the acceptance of oneself, to become one in the universe. Many movies have been done about this. Many things have talked about this level of energy. And I want to cut it down directly to what it is. It's the understanding of the energy to the knowledge within oneself to achieve the place of alpha and beta. As we do this for ourselves, we give ourselves that place. To have that kind of mentality where we liberate ourselves from our challenges. So let's start talking about how we can get to liberation, how we can get to the place of freedom, how we can bypass the emotion to gain the knowledge behind the emotion instead of being a slave to the emotion, a slave to the fears. The mentality to the place where we gain that level of understanding, where focus and knowledge become centered inside of you, where your mass is a place of discipline, where your being is a place of centering, where you see the positive and negative forces in the universe working in your favor. Where no matter the challenges that you face off against, you can overcome. And so, this ability inside of ourselves is that. This ability inside of ourselves is what this is about. It's about hitting a place where we become that kind of ripple in the universe, where the practice inside radiates light, where the level of discipline reflects outwards, where the level of understanding is sufficient, where the challenges no longer have the ability to stop you. And inside of that place where you sit down with you, where you no longer allow those things to challenge you, it's the ability for you to be with you and sit down with yourself and study yourself and get to the place where your challenges no longer have the ability to overcome you, that you start to become a reflection of your level of discipline. Other people see your level of discipline as your level of practice. That is called your life. When you live your life, when you live your path, when you are on your journey, it isn't about how easy or hard it is. It's about how focused and how positive you are, and how the things that are working for you are working for you, how you are becoming a mentality in the universe where you have the practice to be yourself. And so, are we sitting down with ourselves to the point where it lightens other people's loads? Are we sitting down with ourselves to the point where our mentality is having permission to be itself? Are we sitting down with ourselves to the place where we get to overcome those challenges, and it is a blessing to make it through those challenges? It is a point in the process to make it through those challenges. Are we sitting down with ourselves to the point where we recognize that we are a process, and that blessings are meant to be things for others as well too? That you could wish a blessing upon somebody else, and that one day that would become true for you. Are you becoming inspired to that point where you see other people who are achieving your dreams for themselves, and you're enjoying their own path, where you're enjoying their purpose for them, where you're giving them the ability to do it for themselves and be able to do it for you? Because you matter. You matter in this universe. You matter on this path. You matter on this purpose. You matter with this being that you already are on the inside. And so each day that we do it for ourselves, each day that we get to that place where nobody else can go, where nobody else can achieve, it's within ourselves that we become it. It's within ourselves that we overcome our challenges. It's within ourselves that we get to the place where our mentality has the ability to sit down with who we are. It's when our mentality has the ability to get to the place where our focus and our knowledge is applied. You know, Michael Phelps was known to swim 2 to 3 times the normal Olympic athlete's swimming schedule on a daily basis. How did he achieve that? Without knowing that if he worked that hard, that the understanding was not a surprise, that the result was that he would win first place every time. So it's inside of our failures that our successes live. It's inside of our understanding that our knowledge is there for us. It's inside of our being. It's inside of our vibration. It's inside of our reflection that we have an understanding. Each day that we focus to that level, each day that we get to that place, each day that we face off against those kinds of challenges, and that our discipline to continue to hit that wall with that pink hammer that you have will break through. It's with those breakthroughs that you start to see victories in your life. It's with those breakthroughs that other people become inspired to see you as you. It's with those breakthroughs that you make it through the challenges where other people would call it impossible. But unless you take that hammer and you hit that wall again and again and again and again until you break through that wall, you ain't ever going to get through your walls. And those walls, those barriers that stop you, those things that tell you it's not possible, those things that say we can't do this, we can't achieve this, they're not meant to stop you. They're meant to be worked through, one hit against that brick wall at a time. Are you able to break through that brick wall that stops you from being the discipline that you already are? You don't have to change. You don't have to be something for somebody else. All you got to be is yourself. Believe in yourself. Work through your challenges for yourself. Put yourself in a place where you're writing stuff down, where you're listening to positivity, where your discipline applying itself on a daily, where it's becoming a little bit of work at a time, and eventually the little things add up. The little things that we do on a daily add up. The ability inside of ourselves adds up. The ability inside of our being adds up. Our focus adds up. Our mentality adds up. Our being is present. Our purpose is present. Our path becomes present. And it's inside of ourselves that we start to overcome those kinds of challenges one at a time. You know, imagine that brick wall, that person that's breaking through it with a ping hammer. How many hits would it take them to do it? It might not be done on the first time. It might not be done on the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh. But just like water being dropped on a rock, if you drop enough drops on a rock, you can make it through it. And each day is your life. Each challenge is like that. Each part of your path is like that. Each part of your journey is like that. Each blessing that you have inside is like that. And it's up to you to want it for you. It's up to you to want to achieve it for yourself. It's up to you to want to become it for who you already are. Because if you do that, if you sit down, if you break through those walls, if you become who you already are on the other side you believe in yourself. On the other side is confidence. On the other side is discipline. On the other side of discipline is a reflection. On the other side of that is people that are waiting to uplift you. On the other side of that is people that are asking if you will come, if you will give the speeches, if you will sing in front of the crowds, if you will write their book, if you will put yourself in a place to become that best salesman, that best driver, that best being that you already are. And that, my friends, is the practice of meditation. That, my friends, is the practice of understanding. That is the practice of being this: motivation, meditation, and inspiration. And that, my friend, is where those singers started to go. It is when they sat in front of that keyboard and hit it over and over and over and over again until the point where their fingers were bleeding. It was when that singer wrote until the point where they couldn't sing and their voice wouldn't let out. How do you get there? What does it take to get there? It takes you just trying. Try every day. Give yourself that place every day. Give yourself that purpose every day. And get to that place inside of yourself where you no longer are that type of person who is not disciplined. We have seen those people that have hit that places. We have seen those singers that have sung to the point where their whole being is connected, where their mass and their energy, their knowledge, this is their path. And that is yours to hit. You have your path to hit. You have your purpose to hit. You have your mentality to get there. You have your ability to get there. You have your path and your journey to get there. You have your place inside of you to get there. And it's for you to do it for yourself. It's for you to become it within you. It's for you to understand it inside of you. It's for you to achieve it for you. It's for you to become it for who you are on the inside. That it will manifest outwards. That you will be known across the face of the planet as the best at the things that you take on. So take on few things. And be great at the few things that you do. So that you could take on these things and become it. So that you can take on these things and overcome. Focus to that place where you're utilizing it to that level. Where you have that amount of willpower to be who you are. Willingness to be who you already are on the inside. Where the power inside of you radiates with light. Where other people seek out your mentality. Where other people seek out your ability to be who you are. Where you're centered inside of yourself. Where you are understanding of your path, your journey, your purpose. And you are dominating in your life. Where your focus has the ability to go beyond your challenges. And watch how the universe utilizes you. Watch as the universe uses your gifts that you have. Watch as it uses your being. Watch as it uses your purpose. Watch as it has a place for you. Because you are in this universe a blessing. You are in this universe a light. You are in this universe, when you are being who you truly are, you are a reflection of inspiration. Be present inside of your being. Be present in your day. Be present in your understanding. Be present in your being to the point where the reflection radiates light outwards to that level where nobody else can go. And watch the dreams that come possible. Watch the manifestation in your vibration. Watch the manifestation in your level of understanding. Watch the manifestation in your being. Watch the manifestation in your purpose. You have what it takes to be who you are. You have what it takes to make it through your challenges. You have what it takes to go through the things that nobody else will. And it's for you to do it for yourself. It's for you to become it from within you. It's for you to light up to that point. It's for you to get down with your challenges to that level. It's with you that you start to become that place inside of yourself where you become that focused, where you become that blessing, where you become that path, where you become that purpose. And it's for you to do it for you. Focus to that point where you achieve it, where you become it, where you manifest it. You know, the Most High God made you as a blessing. You are a path. You have a purpose. You have a journey. Where is your journey starts? What page does your journey start on? We see these people that have achieved amazing things across the face of the planet. They have achieved amazing things in ways that nobody else can. And yet the greatest teacher lives inside of you for your knowledge, for you to understand you, for you to become what is known biblically in multiple across the face of the planet as Christ-like consciousness, the connection of inspiration in the universe, to hit that place of alphas, and for those betas to hit that beta status. It is for you to achieve. It is for you to become. It is for you to get to the level of understanding inside of yourself. It's for you to get to the place inside of yourself where you light up in this universe, where you become a light in this universe. And so, are we achieving it for ourselves? Are we getting down to that place inside of ourselves where we are focusing to the point where our focus and our knowledge becomes centered? To truly be centered in oneself is to be who you are, is to recognize your path, to recognize your purpose, to recognize your journey. Each of us has our own journey. Each of us has our own path. Each of us has our own energy. Each of us has our own reflection. And it's up for you to understand yours, to understand what your practice is, to understand your purpose, to understand your being. And it's inside of you that the blessings come out. It's inside of you that you see the reflection of inspiration. It's inside of you that you become a light in this universe. If I can uplift those people who have had those challenges, to have the mentality, to have the ability to be themselves, that is what this is for. It's for that positivity, that a vibration in this universe called you would light up this universe and create amazing things, create amazing abilities, create amazing understandings in this universe, create amazing mentalities in this universe. Blessings. How you doing?
It's that countdown. It's that 5, 4, 3.
Yep.
It got you too, man. Yeah, hey, you know what? I'm doing great, man. I'm wonderful. I'm amazing at the same time. If you could ever imagine what wonderful and amazing at the same time looks like, well, you're looking at it right now, baby. This is what it is. Oh, come on.
Yep. Well, at that level inside of oneself, when one connects the whole being together, the challenges that one have are not greater than what goes on inside.
Well, there's more information that goes from the heart to the mind than there is from the mind to the heart. Oh, we're talking about a heart condition. Come on.
Well, there's the H's, the hand, the head, the hand, and the heart.
Yeah,
so
it's all connected.
So what the heart understands comes from the head.
Well, if you live from the neck up, you don't know what I'm talking about. Oh!
So what I'm talking about is the mere fact that any emotion that a person has, they had to learn.
Well, emotions are what you love and what you don't love. So, yeah.
So if you learn a feeling, you still learned that feeling.
A feeling is the surface of who you are. It's the exterior. It's the rough surface, if you will, the rough stone. But underneath that stone is the sacred place where you practice doing what you're talking about. But then there's people that profane that, right?
Right. Well, the point is to get to that place where it is not from somebody else, but what's going on inside of you.
Well, that require.
Focus and discipline. It actually takes knowledge, it takes your own level of knowledge and your own focus to hit the place beyond the emotion.
Well, it requires it requires you listening and not listening to the wrong thing, because if you happen to listen to the wrong thing and you figured out that, hey, I listened to the wrong thing, right?
Well, that's
Then
positive and negative.
well, then you can see if you listen to the wrong thing, then you can see what you did, and you could say to yourself, well, I don't want to do that no more, and then you don't have to do that. You could stop, right?
That's positive and negative forces. That's the mentality to hit the place where the knowledge inside teaches oneself how to free itself from those things. Emotion, there's a thing called emotional slavery, right?
Yeah.
So emotion is energy. Robert Kiyosaki, I think, says it's best. He said, emotion is nothing less than energy in motion.
It's well, you're talking about being a person that is a leader, which a leader position would be someone that can solve the problems underneath where people are trying to solve the problem. So
yeah,
there would have to be a specific person that would be an emerging person that would become the leader. And you're thinking, well, how is this person going to lead? Well, it's going to lead by the energy field, because we have to consider the energy field, right?
Well, I don't look at it from a singular level.
I'm not looking at it from a singular level either. I'm not. I'm just, you want me to be more like broad and more, bring in other things and stuff, or other people may.
What I'm saying is what I used work for everybody.
Well, yeah, me too, bro. Me too.
So what I'm saying is that mentality to try to be a leader is not necessarily what I'm looking at. I want people to be helped out whose wife just left them, husbands just left them.
They're leaders too.
Exactly. I believe in everybody.
Yeah, I'm not excluding nobody. I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm empowering people with a positive attitude that I possess.
Yep.
And God said to me that there's nothing wrong with that. And I said, well, how come these people are saying this and that? And he goes, well, don't listen to this and that. And I had a hard time not listening to this and that because I wanted to punch him in the head. And God says, no, we're not going to punch him in the head. And I said, well, then what's up then? And he goes, well, if you would just listen, I would explain it to you. And he explained it to me, so I understand. I'm not stuck on stupid.
Well, what I came across to reality was that there were some gurus out there who wanted people to worship them.
Right. Okay.
And the point is not that. It's that we uplift one another to the point where our challenges no longer slave us.
That's a beautiful thing, because that's like living on the right side of your brain, instead of the left side.
I just want to live centered inside of this mass. I want to be present. I want to be the tool the Most High God made.
You are, dude. Why are you tripping? Don't trip, man. Look at the fact that that you're doing what you're doing. I'm not taking anything away from anything. You could tell I'm not doing that, and I don't want to give anybody else the impression that I'm doing that. Okay, I'm just trying to jump on board, but I have a little bit of something to throw in there too, just because I'm not chopped liver.
No, I believe in you. See, that's the thing. The practice behind me is a practice.
Yeah.
This mentality is a practice. The sharing of this practice is all I want to do. I want to share what helped to get me through the challenges where I was sleeping in a van, where I was washing my clothes in 24-hour fitness bathroom in the showers, where I was meditating in the sauna, where I was breaking 5-hour plus barriers of staying in the sauna, where I was meditating and using a real practice with a real relationship with that Most High God. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it worked for you. And your experiences throughout the process, right? Your experiences, that's your strength that you had and that you have now, and those are your abilities. And your abilities to sympathize with people that are that are going through what you went through. This is the gift, if you will, that you get to give to these people, so that they can, so that, not that you want to control them, but more or less you want to show them by your testimony that there's hope. Because if they don't
That's
have
it
hope,
right there.
yeah, if they don't have hope, they're a danger to themselves and other people around them, and you don't want them to be in that position, because it's the simple fix in your mind, but in their mind it's a big problem, and you want to take their mind's eye off of that shit and put it on the things that are right, what you're saying, and are true, which is you're saying, so they can get the understanding that's so desperately needed that they didn't have. But if they ever get it, then you're like, well, then there's no room for bitterness or hate, because now you got it. And that's what I'm talking about. Oh,
Yep.
come on, boy.
Yep.
Shine, son.
That's what inspiration is. All I want to be is a ripple on the face of the planet that's left here even the day after I leave.
Well, you don't know me, do you?
Nope.
Oh, man, I thought you knew me, man.
Well, we talked before, but only...
Yeah, but you listen, don't you?
I do.
Oh, that's a good boy. Because I'm telling you, I'm a kid too, man. And us kids, we stick together because we know that we're going to get through this. We're going to grow up and we're going to look back someday and we're going to laugh about all the silly things that we used to do. And
Yeah.
believe me, this stuff we're doing today, later on, we're going to look back and we're going to say, man, that was baby stuff. You know what I'm saying? That was baby stuff, but it had some truth to it. And that's the thing I wanted to say. Listen, oh my God, if you ever had an ear to hear, you better start listening, because there's hope. You got it. You don't have to do anything but just start listening. If you listen to the other stuff that was taking you down, if you let go of that and grab hold of this, it'll take you up. Don't
Yep.
you know that love loves you down here just as much as it loves you up here?
Well, the thing that I've realized is that self-love is a reflection of self-understanding.
Well, that's a good point. I like that.
So,
Go ahead, expound on that.
so when we look for self-love, we're ultimately searching for ourselves.
We're looking. We're trying to find ourselves where that solid ground is, and that takes me back. Listen. That solid ground takes me back, and it makes me want to appreciate your parents, because your mom and dad had an integral part in this.
Whoa. You got to remember, I was sleeping in a van by myself.
I understand that, but I'm talking about when you were in the tender little, 3, 2, 1, or let's say 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 ages. There was people that were putting something into you that you can't say they weren't. Now, whatever they did put into you, we can talk about that.
What I'm trying to say is that until I started believing in myself.
Okay, now somebody had to put that there for you to believe it.
No, you put it there. Okay,
who?
The greatest teacher that you're gonna have going on. Now we know there's a Most High. When you're on your path, on your journey, you're gonna have challenges.
At what age are you speaking about? You're going to have challenges. At the age of accountability, which would be 18, legally adult.
There we go.
Okay, now that's what. Okay, now you have a distinction. You have a time before that and after that.
At that age where you start to hit that stage, where your mentality starts to ask you the questions.
Okay.
Is when you start to really see the testing being done in your life.
Well, that's because of those conflicting lessons that you learn throughout your life. And those conflicting lessons are what's going to be jumping up at your face, and you got to look at it and say, well,
Bingo.
I don't know what a conflicting lesson is.
And the question becomes how focused one is. Because the challenges are going to come. It's how you face...
Excuse me. Go back to what you said before. You said it's the focus. What did you say about the focus again?
So here's the thing. When you choose your mentality, when you choose to start to think and you start to have those kind of challenges, that place is going to ask you if you're going to see these types of things as positive and negative.
That's not necessarily true, bro.
When we look from a level of good and bad, this is a good thing for us and this is a bad thing.
Only if you're shedding light in this area. Otherwise, people are in the dark. And if you're shedding light, then of course people could say easily to you, "Yeah, I understand what you're saying, bro." Like they already know. But before the light came on, they weren't acting or doing nothing like that, bro.
Bingo. And that's where positive and negative happens. Negative hits you in the face. It will hit you in the face. It will put you in check in life to where
but how many people run away from that check fucking mate shit you're talking about? They say fuck you. I'm not.
Come on, we got to stay PG rated.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is, one way or another, you're going to be tested. The universe is going to test every single one of us. No matter where we are at that stage. Okay, a lot of us are sheltered as we're growing up. But at a certain stage, you're going to face off against your challenges, even if you try to ignore them.
True.
At that stage, you will be seeing if that was a positive thing that you did or a negative thing.
That's cute, man. That is so cute because it's funny in a way because you're right.
So, we can either embrace it and allow that process to work that way or ignore it and live by good and bad.
Well, that's because now you just look at, dude, you better look at, hold on a second now, cowboy. Listen, whoa.
I'm so happy about that because here's the thing. The question that was asked there was the answer. You asked me a question. And what I'm basically saying to you is, at a point where you're no longer sheltered, you start searching out for positive and negative things in the universe. And the things that are positive start to come into your place. The things that are positive start to happen. And so, if you start to get used to things, one of the places where this comes out is in sales. When you start selling things, they have a thing called an icebreaker. And in life, we always have those icebreakers. We always have those challenges that ask us the question, can we face off against these challenges? And you remember that icebreaker when you break through the ice. And when you break through the ice, in sales, for instance, in sales,
yeah,
you're going to fail before you start to sell. And even if you sell the first one and you're lucky to be able to continue, you're going to have to face off against negative rejections.
You're going to have to be a naval SEAL.
You're at an able mentality. You have to have a mentality to start to see the positive.
Can I play a video in this room? Or can you play a video?
Well, I'm on a recording here, so I...
just messing around. I know you are. I'm just kidding, but no, seriously, go ahead. I know, but I was going to say something, but when in your own time, later, I will talk.
So that's what goes on, though. So
yeah.
When it hits you in the face, and it will hit you in the face, if you're not going on a positive path, you can ignore it for some time. You can throw it off to the side.
You mean run away from it, right?
You can do all of that until the day when you get hit in the face.
But that's your adrenaline. Your adrenaline is dripping, right? You're dripping, and so you get into this fighting or flight mode, right?
That is where slavery, it goes fight, flight, slavery, emotion, time, organization, focus, and knowledge, centering and discipline inside of oneself. So at whatever level of elevation in whatever area, that could be in the ability to stand your ground, that could be in your human system, that could be in your thought process, that could be in your heart, your ability to voice yourself, your depth perception, your nervous system. Whatever system is having whatever challenges you have, it's up for you to free yourself from those challenges.
But that system is polluted with traumas. And those
mentality. It's polluted with mentality. Mentality comes from negative things being allowed to take the place in your life.
Look at, if you were bankrupt as a child, a little child, you were bankrupt of love, okay? You can't expect that child to perform at a level that you're speaking on without some help.
You know where that help starts?
You know I do. You come on.
Inside of oneself, starting even with a pen and paper that I talk about every day for a minimum of 30 minutes a day, about sitting down with the simplest things and starting to try to turn the simplest things around.
I did that for years, bro. I went through so much paper that they said that if you do any more paper, we're going to be calling the fire department because this is a hazard. That's how much paper I went through writing down, trying to get real with myself.
That's a wonderful thing. You know that the person who's willing to do that achieves things that other people aren't able to achieve.
Well, people don't have time to do that kind of thing, basically.
It only takes 1 hour a day.
Well, that's if you're being honest. And if you're not being honest, you ain't going to enjoy the benefits. So don't pussyfoot.
I have pages and pages and pages of writings that I have put down.
Me too, dude. I got a drawer full right here, right in front of me.
And what I'm saying is
full of them.
That when you sit down with yourself in that way and what you program your mind to do and how you program your mind, and I'm not talking about somebody else doing it, okay? This isn't...
No bullshit, right? No bullshit.
Yeah, when you choose what you listen to. For 2.5 years, I drove food. And in that 2.5 years that I drove food, I was listening to motivational speakers every day because that's what I wanted to listen to.
But you needed help in that area, so you were focused.
And what I'm sharing is exactly how to do it.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring out. I want to bring out the best, and sometimes we have to dig a little deeper to get it out. So thank you for bringing it out, bro.
You're welcome. It's a blessing to have that process, though.
And yeah, of course. I mean, like I said, if you see a sunset, right, and you're on top of a mountain, you see a beautiful sunset, and you're the only one there, and you try to go later on and tell somebody about that sunset you saw, when you try to explain it, you're just taking away from the beauty of the experience. And you had to been there, done that. You had to been there. Nobody was there but you, though. You wish there was somebody else. But if we've all seen a sunset, then we all know what we're talking about. We don't have to say anything. We just say a few words, and we all understand. You know what I mean? Because it's the beauty of it. It's the beauty of it. It's like it's like me trying to tell you something, and you're like, dude, you're preaching to the choir. I'm already there, homie. And I'm like, well, oh, you already there? And I'm like, yeah. How long you been here? And they're like, I've been here for a long time, dude. And I'm like, well, I'm just getting here, And you're like, well, welcome to my world. And I'm like, well, thank you very much, right?
That's what it's about. And for those people who are searching for that, this is exactly what that's for. Because somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to truck that path.
Yeah. Sick, bro. Sick, man. You know how we do it. We just get down to it, man. We give it away now. But we give it away because we got to make some, you know what? And that's what everybody needs. But look at, when you need that, that thing, it's like being a monk, A monk would learn how to be a monk by learning the truth. And the truth is that a monk would have to do for other people in order to get their needs met. And so if you're a monk today, let's monk it up.
There's a thing an architect say, that less is more. And it's not to give everything away, okay? It's just to be grateful for the things that we do have.
That's true. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
And so...
but you have to be able to see that in order to be grateful for it, though.
And that's where monks go to become monks.
I'm a monk.
And that's where that is. It's in that stage where everything is broken down that one finds themselves.
You know how we do it. It takes a lot of work, and you're asking people to jump ahead but you don't want them to jump ahead. You want them to take the necessary steps, and if they're taking the necessary steps, those are little goals that get accomplished on the way to the bigger picture. And if you're painting the bigger picture and you have somebody with you that you love and they're painting the picture with you, then you guys get to put things in the bigger picture that are meant to be, not the bullshit things that you are struggling with now, because those don't belong in the bigger picture. So you're working towards something. And so as you take these steps, the necessary steps, it's going to be taking steps, what I call spiritually speaking, because you can't see a literal step. You're just taking a step. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yep. Different page on this road that's not been seen yet.
You know, but
That page exists.
yeah, it does. It does. It does. And like you said, the universe is using you as a tool to be an integral part of the bigger picture, if you will.
That's all I want to be. I want to be inspiration.
Well, you have to be able to get inspiration, and everything that you come in contact with, or anything for that matter, you can grab inspiration from it and then take it and make it your own. And I think that you do that, and that's a good thing. So I want you to feel free to take something from any of this, and maybe not. You could do whatever you want with it. You know what I mean? You can apply it to your own heart, and you can see how that would work, and then you can apply it to your life and see if that works. And I believe it's going to work for the bigger picture, because that's what we're talking about.
We're talking about this right here. That's my practice right there.
Yeah.
That's my practice.
You gotta bring that up a little closer, bro. That's too far away, homie.
This
Yeah, you gotta bring it up a little closer to the camera there. There you go.
is motivation, meditation, and inspiration.
That's right, man.
That's the question. That's the question. You know how people want to solve an equation?
Yeah.
Do you want to help a lot of people out? Solve an equation, right? Question I asked myself every single day when I was sleeping in my van was, is what I'm doing today motivation? Is what I'm doing today meditation? Is what I'm doing today, is it inspiration? If it's not one of the three, I don't want it.
Well, you came to a point in that process where that was where you were developing something that was going to be beneficial to your rehabilitation, which was your future. So, in light of what you just said, I wouldn't think that you'd want to do anything outside of that, which would be detrimental to that rehabilitation. Is that correct?
Yeah, so that's where the mentality is. So if it's not one of the three of those three things, then I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to put my mentality, invest my time or energy into it.
Okay. And that's being a forerunner in my eyes. That's being a forerunner, because you're leading the way, and if you're leading the way, there's going to be other people where you begin to lead the way. Some people will look at you like you're stupid and you're not going to do this, and they already have their mind made up of what you are, but they don't know who you are, and they have no idea, and you have no idea what's ahead of you. But you know this much, that if you continue to go down this road, which is the road that you were staring at when you were standing at the crossroads, pondering which way to go.
Yep.
Right? And the way was obvious. So to you, it wasn't the easy road, it was the lower road that you chose. And the fact that you're going lower means you're going higher. You're elevating the world around you by going low. So it makes sense that you understand this simple, basic, elementary process.
It's all a process that we live this journey.
It is. And to be acquainted with knowledge that wasn't there before is quite a relief to the people that needed it when they didn't even know they needed that. But there was that refreshment, because refreshments are required. We need refreshments. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, we do. And that's when the universe brings positive things into our way. It's kind of those little things where you're driving from LA to San Diego with 2 bars of gas, and in front of you pulls up a semi, and you ride the breeze of the semi on the way home.
And save gas.
Yeah, it's the going to a dentist's office and having almost enough money to pay for it and leaving and getting a phone call saying that it's paid off. There's so many cases, the same thing. But the thing is, until you are with you on your path, until you're on your journey with you, until you are best friends with yourself, the universe only throws glimpses at you. What happens when major things start happening that way, where you're putting a lot more energy into yourself, and I don't mean selfish, I mean selfless. Nothing more, nothing less than who you are.
Do you recycle?
Well, in Arizona, they don't really do that stuff.
Okay, well, I recycle, and let me explain to you what I'm talking about, because I don't think people get the right idea about what I mean by recycling. Like, if it's your birthday, right? I'll take you down to a store, and we'll go shopping, and you'll get something that you want, and you'll get it, and I'll be like, no, I got it, no problem, I'll cover it. And then I'll go to the aisle where there's cards, right? Birthday cards, and I'll look for a card, and I'll find one that really rocks it good, and I'll say, happy birthday. And you'll look at it, and you'll laugh and shit, and I'll say, now put it back. You know? You got to enjoy it, now let somebody else enjoy that. You know what I mean? So no, there's no paper, you know, you don't have to worry about throwing away or putting it on the wall or saving it. He already knows it. He knows it. Or she knows it. Because I did that to my wife many times. I took her down there and said, hey, look at, and I wanted to do a favor, so I was like, your trees need trimming. So I'm thinking, well, there's about $500 worth of work there. You know, if you were to hire a tree guy to come out and do your trees, not some Yahoo. Because if you get a Yahoo trimming your tree, he's going to mess it up. And any Yahoo will do any kind of cutting, but they don't know anything. And if you hire people that don't know anything, they're going to screw everything up, right? So you have to hire somebody that knows what they're doing, but you have to pay a little bit more for that knowledge because they're not going to hurt you. But look, I don't want to talk about this no more. I just want to say this, that if I was going to do something nice for her, I would say, okay, let me give you $400, right? And then you hire a tree guy, take that $400, you pay the tree guy, and then you only have to pay him like $150 of your money. And then the tree guy, right, he does the job. I say, hey, man, look, I'll help you do the work, okay? Just give me $250. I'll help you out. He says, okay, you know how to do all this down here? And I go, yeah, I'll do all this down here. He says, okay, you can do it. He hired me. So I get my $250 back. So I only had to pay so much money for the tree to get done. You know, I worked the system. You know what I'm saying?
So what I'm saying is that I understand what you're saying. And the thing is that a lot of people don't want to shoot the shots that Michael Jordan shot to become Michael Jordan.
Well, you know, I'm just trying to give somebody some ideas that, you know, next time they come up against this Michael Jordan shot that they think they can't do it, I just want to tell them, look it, man, you see the basket, right? Just that's all you need to do is just see it and then shoot, okay? Don't mess around. See it, shoot.
You got it. Now, what happens when those professionals start sitting down with each other is it comes down to how willing they are to focus.
Well, it takes a split second to focus on the net where you're going to shoot it at. It takes a split second. It's all you need to do is just look at it, focus for that moment of time, and then shoot.
Now, a sport like baseball, we take a professional pitcher and we take a person who doesn't know how to hit a ball, and there's a high likelihood they're not going to be able to hit that ball.
There's a high likelihood that the pitcher and the catcher have already studied this particular person who's up to bat, so they know their habits and this and that. So
yes.
The catcher says, okay, he puts 2 fingers down and a 1 on the other finger, and that means, okay, do this move on the throw, right? So they're in cahoots with each other,
and that's fine, because if you focus enough with that sport, you will hit the ball.
if your pitch comes and that guy puts it down and you're going to take it, yeah, you're going to knock it out of the park.
And so in life, when we shoot the baskets as many times as Michael Jordan shot the baskets, at a certain point we become an inspiration.
Because we keep making the shot.
Yes. An example of this is what I talked about earlier today, which is like if we took a ball peen hammer, little thing, and we took a brick wall. You might not be able to make it through for quite a while, but if you kept on hitting that wall, you know what would happen eventually, right?
Yeah, you're going to break through.
So we have walls in front of us, and we have a mentality that's either able to continue to hit that wall or not. And so
whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down, Captain. What about me, dude? I'm on the outside of those walls that somebody built, and I'm thinking, I'm going to tear
Okay,
down
check this
I'm
out.
On the outside,
it isn't about anybody else. You can't.
Wait.
You can't put it on somebody else.
I'm saying I'm on the outside of the walls that were built.
No,
talk about these walls.
There's no out. This isn't about somebody else's walls.
Who built these walls?
Yourself.
The person on the inside built them, or the people that put
Nope.
them in that prison?
Listen to what I'm saying. These are the walls that we have inside of ourselves. These are mental blocks that I'm talking about.
Well, I want you to be specific, Captain.
These are mental blocks that we able or disable inside of our mind.
So you're talking about, are you basically, what I think you're saying is that when we look at our problems that we perceive to have, right? When we look at these problems, they become like a huge mountain because we're magnifying them, because we always look at them all the time. We're entertaining it, right?
Yep.
So when we do that, it gets a foothold in our thought process. So when that happens, then we start talking about this stuff, and when we start talking about it, it gets a foothold in our way we talk, right? And then it doesn't stop there. It starts getting a foothold in our actions. We start acting like what you're talking about, and we want to stop acting like this because we need to take responsibility for our feelings so we can enjoy those benefits, which you're getting around to. I guess I should stop and let you finish.
So that's what it is.
Man, dude, are you serious?
So it all is in the mind.
Right. When the mind and the heart are connected, then you can speak like this, right?
So when you know yourself, which is, I watched a yogi say, you guys don't know you. And the yogi was actually the one who didn't know anything.
Oh, see?
And the reason why is because the people that study themselves hit that brick wall every day with a ball peen hammer until they break through it.
Look at that, man. That's good stuff, baby. I like that. That's good shit, man. I like stuff. I think and I say it like that. I'm talking about the stuff, not the, you know what I'm talking about. The stuff.
Right. I'm with you, brother. I'm just saying that Will Smith stated this in a different way. Intelligent people go to the ocean trying to fill the ocean with a ladle. So
that's good.
It's the same thing as a ball peen hammer hitting a wall. You could get a sledgehammer. You could get a jackhammer. They're all tools. The tool that we are is what matters the most, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could be a lot of different things at different times if you're aware of the way that you used to do things as opposed to the way that you're going to do things now. That awareness gives you the ability to see yourself in that position and have the ability to sympathize with that person.
Knowledge that came from your level of focus in a place of discipline has a result which people are not surprised in when the reflection with an inspiration to break through. Like Michael Phelps, for instance, was known to swim 2 to 3 times the normal laps and at workouts a day that a normal Olympic athlete would do.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So, so that means that the way that he got to where he was by working harder than everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. He had to really, well, he did because of his level.
Of mentality. Because of his mentality, he
Well,
was
he
able to
gives
do that.
people hope then by having that mentality. It gives people hope.
And it gives people hope to be able to be Michael Jordans. Gives people hope to be Pelés. Gives people hope the ability to become singers, writers, authors, speakers.
Yeah.
You know what gave me hope? Les Brown gave me hope. Les Brown, one of the greatest motivational speakers to ever live, gave me hope. Gave me the reason to go from writing this stuff down when I was driving to start speaking it out. That if he could do it, I could do it too.
You had to take responsibility in order to do that. That's for sure. Otherwise, you could never do it.
And that's what the blessings start coming your way when you allow yourself to be who you are already. That is a blessing.
I absolutely agree with that 100% because of the fact that that's what I think about on a daily basis is that I'm already amazing and wonderful, like I pointed out at the beginning of the scope, or at least when I came into the scope. I'm doing wonderful and amazing. Remember when I said that?
This is actually a Twitter. I'm on Twitter.
Oh, you're on Twitter?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I don't know. I guess I'm on Twitter too then, I guess, right?
Well, you're probably using Periscope and seeing my Twitter.
Oh, crap. So that means that people can hear me?
Well, here's the cool thing. Twitter is getting ready to be the only way to be able to use it. Periscope is getting ready to be shut down in March.
That's what they were saying, but I don't know. Is it going to be just like this right here on the Twitter thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Then I can handle that. If it's not like this, then I won't want no part of it.
Yeah, no, it's like this right here, the same way I'm talking and everything like
that's
that.
Fine. I was kind of heartbroken about the whole deal because I thought I kind of liked this kind of thing a little bit, you know, at least with certain people anyway. Other people, I don't know. I'm not familiar with this whole program, so people probably look at me like I'm just like this, you know, I'm obvious, put it that way. So, but that's okay. I'm going to learn just like everybody else learned when they came on here, you know, how it works. And I think this is a good thing. I see you're doing a good thing, you know, and I see you helping people and stuff. And people need that more than anything right now. But not a lot of people have taken the time necessary.
I hear what you're saying about right now. I'm going to say people have needed this all along.
Well, yeah, obviously, we've always needed this, but the fact that you're in it now, and you're in it to win it, if you will. You're not in it to be a loser. You're in it to be a winner. And as you go along in life, you're always going to pass up failure. There's always this passing up failure because you're on your way somewhere, which is success, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you have to wave at failure, you know, you just have to wave at it and just keep on going. So a lot of times I find even myself, more times than I care to mention, but a lot of times I have to rise above. A disappointment, you know, because I get a lot of disappointments during the day, and I have to be able to rise above these things so that I can continue doing what I'm doing. But have you ever found yourself getting hung up and distracted away from that important thing that you were doing? And when you're distracted, you're thinking, well, you know, it's not just one distraction, Captain. It's like so many, and you're thinking, are you ever going to get back to who you are?
Okay.
And you think you're.
I'm gonna answer the question you just asked me.
Okay. I'm not talking to you, basically. I'm talking with everybody in mind, please.
I'm inside the sauna, 24-hour fitness. I'm doing meditation. Pure Indian girl comes in there. She's Indian. Her family moved from there to South African country, and then she came to the U.S. She was in her maybe 50s, 60s, and I was inside the sauna, and she knew meditation. She had a daughter. She got distracted for years, talking about what you're talking about. Just different pile-ups, right?
Uh,
And what I learned in that story was that the first place we have to give ourselves time first. When you do that, you master the beginning of your day. And there's a perfect example of this actually in a certain person who works out twice a day before he even starts to go show his moving shoots and doing all of these movies. And he's on top of it right now, but he talks about this exact challenge that you're talking about and how to utilize it. Do you know who that is? Do you know what actor that could be? Could you guess?
a male, right?
It's a male, yes.
I would have to say an action figure actor.
An actor talks about this and the importance of
Is he an
putting
actor?
yourself
Is he an actor?
first every day.
Is he an action kind of guy? Like
He's done a lot of movies. A lot of
action
movies.
Action movies.
Yep.
I'm gonna say Chuck Norris.
Nope. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was known. He knows to do 2 workouts before he even starts his day. He talks about the importance of giving yourself time before you start your day. So what I would recommend is to do that. I'd recommend to listen to his speech on how he works out twice a day before he ever wakes up, before other people ever wake up. He talks about exactly that. He shares his testimony about how to do that so that the challenges that you face off against don't have the upper hand. Because what goes on inside, it's either what's going on around you is greater than what's going on inside, or what's going on inside is greater than what's going on around you. It's one or the other.
I got a perfect place to start with all this. When you get up in the morning, I want you to take all your sheets off your bed, take your pillowcase off, put new sheets on, new pillowcase, and I want you to do.
Do you see this right here? Hold on, check this out. Do you see that bed made?
Yeah.
Do you see both mine and my brother's bed made?
No.
Do you see the bottom bed's made? Do you see the top bed made? Do you see the bottom one? Both of these beds are made. Okay.
Well, in that situation, maybe you can claim that.
But what I'm saying is, when you sit,
I'm talking about when you get up in the morning, the first thing you need to do is to make your bed with cut corners and everything needs to be just perfect. And then when you start your day, then you can go ahead and do what you need to do.
Hear what I'm saying?
Listen, this is where you begin to practice doing something.
No matter what time you wake up, whatever hour you wake up, if you give yourself just 1 hour, and it's not about being perfect, it's about giving yourself 10% where you pay yourself first. There's a book.
That takes a whole different process, though. You can't just.
That is the process. That is the process of dominating your day.
No, but you have to start with this other stuff that's deeper than that. Otherwise, you're not going to deal with the trauma.
If you give yourself at least an hour every day, okay, challenge yourself to the same thing. Do it 1 hour a day. Give yourself 1 hour a day for a month. You're going to come
across the same thing I'm saying. You're going to come across these traumas because while you're doing what you're saying right there, right? While you're doing that, okay, the traumas that they're just going round and round. They exist. And
this is why when you sit down with yourself, you start to get into self-study, and that's where meditation comes in.
Well, it does. I hate to use the word meditation. I just like to use in your thought process.
That meditation is a reflection of knowledge. So when you are going through those challenges and you are freeing yourself from your level of focus by putting yourself first, the other challenges you'll start to overcome.
You could have knowledge, but if you don't have the other thing, that doesn't mean shit, bro.
If you don't have focus...
No, love.
Love is a reflection of your knowledge. Love is a reflection of your knowledge.
Knowledge with love equals...
Love is
something.
Love is a reflection. When other people see you care about them, that is what they identify that reflection as. The knowledge that, think about it like this. You have a kid that is in first grade takes a test, and you have a 12th grader, and they both take the same test, and the first grader tries to take a 12th grader's test, we might start feeling quite a few things. But you give that same test to that 12th grader, what happens is they pass it without anything happening. It's just like that. It's in that mentality that that practice starts to build. Knowledge shows a reflection of self-care.
Well, if you're talking to me, right? Let's just say you're talking to me, which you're not talking to just me, you're talking to everybody. But you are talking to me. And if I was to reflect what you're projecting, that would let you know that I feel you on a deeper level.
See,
and so
the reason why
the deeper you go means the higher we get. So
the knowledge inside,
the higher we get, we're not going to be fucking dicking around with each other.
You can't have emotion without knowledge.
You know?
You can't have a motion without the knowledge. The first of every single thing that you chose was positive, was where that first place lays. It's the freeing of that ability that frees one to actually really be with what it is, which is knowledge. If one cares, then that is coming from the knowledge inside. And so self-love comes from self-knowledge, which is caring for oneself.
There you go. Keep talking.
So
now you're talking.
That means that what really exists is focused knowledge and this place of discipline on the journey which we all started.
For the benefit of who, bro?
Each individual is a tool in the universe. It's on a singular and a multiple. It's an understanding with the universal energy that runs across the face of the planet that the Most High God made each of us with.
Has to be a beneficiary to that process.
The benefit is when you're honest with yourself. The
beneficiary.
When you are honest with yourself, things start filling itself into your life, into your life.
But you're a benefit for that to happen.
And that is where knowledge and focus becomes applied at a place of discipline, which is us, which is what Einstein called mass and energy, is interchangeable. We are a mass and we are energy. It's up for us each to understand that.
How much energy, what do you call it? It's, I forget what they call it, but the mind and the heart, they have energy fields. And
well, there's 7 energy fields inside of the body, and then there's multiple energy fields outside of the body.
Yeah, I'm speaking specifically of the mind one, and then the heart being the other one.
So there's 2 actually that are centrally located. There's one that's right here, which is called the depth perception. It's a purple.
That's like 1,000. What do they call it? What do they call it? I forget what they call it now. My brain is fried, dude. I can't remember now.
It's okay, brother. Listen, The depth perception, all that runs your depth perception, the ability to walk, like, you step out a curb and you see the curb and you don't hit the curb. That all comes from your depth perception through the whole entire body. That energy color on a scientific scanner shows up as purple.
Yeah.
Okay? You also have your white energy field, which runs the whole entire Nadi system, which is white. You have a red energy that runs your red energy field, which has to deal with all of the ability to stand your ground. You have a yellow energy field that has to deal with your worry and your thought process, which is yellow. So each individual energy field on a scientific scanner shows up.
Yeah, it does. Green.
And that is from the universe itself. The equator is also inside of our heart too. We have a lower part of the heart and we have an upper part of the heart. The lower part of the heart has to deal with the understanding of the heart. The upper part of the heart has to deal with the relation of the heart.
And where'd the heart come from?
So that heart is connected to all green things across the face of the planet.
So there's negative ions that the earth produces that we need to put our feet on the soil, the earth itself, so we can be downloaded.
So each part of us, yeah, every part of who we are is connected to the universe in a different way. Each part of who we are, each part of this created in the Creator's image, we were created in such a way that each part of us is a part of this whole connection to this universe.
So we're integral part of the whole unit.
Yes, we are.
Well, then that changes the whole dynamics of everything.
And that's why people have broken through universal laws that other people told were impossible. Like when Deepak Chakra was put underground for 3 days straight. So what I'm talking about is breaking through barriers in your mind that give you the ability to liberate yourself.
Yeah. Liberate yourself.
Which is free you. Free you from, how long have you been with your wife, for instance?
Yeah, right.
Well, do you love yourself more than you love your wife?
Yep.
See, that's a good trait. It's a positive thing. It's a positive thing to care about the person that one is inside. Because companionship is about people joining you for your journey.
Yep. You know what? You're right. Because, I'm sorry, but you're right. Because, yeah, you're right.
And that was a wake-up call for me. And that's why I want to help those people out. Those men and women they were with somebody for so long and that person decided they didn't want to be with you anymore.
I've had many assaults placed upon the existence of the love inside of my heart, but every time there's an assault placed upon the existence of love in my heart, it has proven to me one thing first and foremost, that my love is genuine and true. That puts a smile on my face, and now I can see that I can continue doing what I was doing because that's the way I like it. That's right. You do what you do because that's what matters most to you, man.
And that's self-honesty. That's self-honesty. When one is honest with themselves, they work with the hardest trait on the face of the planet. Self-honesty is the hardest trait to work with because you could be honest to everyone else on the face of the planet. The one person that works with themselves is where it really lays. The people who work on themselves are blessings across the face of this planet.
And that's right. When you sit at the feet of what you're saying right now and you're listening to that, then that's where you get the favor of God, I believe.
And that is why when you put 100% self-honesty and you become 100% you, when you fail, and which we will, because we fail at things, that is when the Most High God pulls from this universe blessings in your direction. At that point, when you've given everything that you are, is when that Most High God starts to bring blessings your direction. And that's the mentality of hitting a place where you leave ripples for other people.
I believe that there is always a supply, even for the minutest needs, which are beneath what we're talking about, because we're talking about real high positions that receive blessings as well, because love loves you the same down here as it does up here. There's no difference.
The care, the knowledge and the care reflects back from that great knowledge of the Most High. That care comes from that knowledge. And what we see is a reflection of that. And that knowledge inside relates itself, has been wired to call that love. It has become wired to call that love. That word should be knowledge.
Which one? Which word?
Love. It should be knowledge.
Well, knowledge
I can't hear you. All right, so gonna probably go ahead and close out here. I want you to all know that you are blessings, and that when we utilize what we have, we utilize our challenges, we utilize our abilities to focus past our challenges, comes down to our mentality and our abilities to get there. It was really wonderful to have a friend on here and to have this kind of place going on. I'll go ahead and grab him one more moment here, and then we'll go ahead and close out here just about another 5 minutes, and then got to go do some stuff today. I just want you all to be blessed. Hey, Wade, I'm getting ready to go on about 2 hours, buddy.
2 hours, huh?
So I got some stuff I'm getting ready to go do, but
Okay.
I want you to see that you could free you from the emotions that hold you back the minute that knowledge and focus become the applied subject. So as soon as what you're searching for is no longer emotion, then other people see you as emotion. They see you as care. They see you as these things. And we relate back to that. And when we're looking for true love, when we're really looking for true love, it's knowledge. Like when you really say that you would you say you love your wife, right? Hello? I cannot hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, so when you say that you love your wife, it's from the knowledge that you have inside of yourself, knowing that you care about her, that the emotion comes from.
Yeah.
So this means that the root of that is the seed of that knowledge, that you care about her. Now, the way she wired is to see that same care, and as it relates back, it wires back to that first knowledge that you are a positive thing in her life. You getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the real thing that exists is knowledge. The amount of
I agree.
care
I
that
agree.
you...
Yeah, I agree.
So recognize that at the top end of elevation is the mentality to free yourself from emotion. Because emotion is a reflection of knowledge. And
You know
as
how
is
you know how I do that? You know how I free myself from that?
by caring.
I'll show you how I do it. Listen carefully, okay? This is going to blow your mind. Okay. You're talking about who I am, what I think, what I say, what I do, correct?
What I'm saying is that your feelings that you have for her come from the place of care, which at a certain point inside of yourself you saw it as a positive, which then became a reflection, which that person sees. That reflection is called love.
Right. And the fact that I was going to say this is that, answer my question. Okay. So, okay. When it comes down to me, who I am, what I think, what I say, what I do, that's me, okay? That's me. Okay? If I'm going to be able to do what you're talking about, which is to have that change take place in my life, then something else would have to sit on the seat of who I am in order to set me free from me, right?
Not true. No.
Listen.
That is the selfish thinking. The unselfish
No,
thinking.
Listen. I'm talking about God now. I'm talking about no bullshit. I'm talking about God now. Listen. Now, since Christ is you have to know who Christ is first. Christ is the one that sits on the seat of who I am and set me free. So when I get my feelings become powerful about something, and I think that it's about me, well, I can go take a look at my feelings and examine them in light of the truth where Christ sits. So I got something to examine my feelings in light of, so I don't make a mistake.
So a lot of people forget. A lot of people forget that Jesus Christ was an example of how to have a relationship with God.
Well, that's because they don't have a relationship. They have to have a relationship.
They forgot that was that. However, there were people even before Jesus who had to have a relationship with God.
there were people when God put Adam, his little butt in that garden. There was other people that existed, and God says, don't have anything to do. Don't listen to them or anything.
What I'm
But
saying
happened?
is Moses, for instance, had to do stuff positive. Not only
Moses
that,
was a leader.
in the beginning there was light.
Moses was God. Looked at Moses and he said, "Here's a guy that has kindness." Moses got hired from God because Moses was kind. So Moses was a leader, and he was a kind leader. But what happened to Moses?
You know what's wonderful about Moses? He was broken down to nothing, and then with nothing, that's when God used him.
Who did that to him?
He killed an Egyptian.
Well, let's get past that, okay?
Okay, so what I'm saying is that when we recognize that place, when we want to have that kind of relationship, you have to at a certain point see your own path and your own journey.
Okay, that would be the Spirit doing that.
Our own path and our own journey?
The Spirit is the light, so you can see. If you can't see,
your
then what
own
the hell
path
are you
and your
about?
own journey. You were not breathed to life.
You're not listening, bro.
I'm saying that the minute that you were breathed to life, that there is a part of God that was put inside of you.
Listen, that is
there we go. And from that place,
fellowship.
Those people that are talked about at two different levels of those people that I'm talking about are biblical. The first level were called baby Christians. The second level were the ones who connected to that first breath inside biblical and started to see the example of how Jesus Christ worked.
The baby Christians were being influenced to get back into Judaism because that was under the law. That was under
There
Moses.
we go. There we go.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, at a certain level, you get in connection with your own path and your own journey. And your own path and your own journey and your own relationship. I always test this thing. So you see, that's the thing is that I bring people inside of a sauna, and because they don't have that kind of relationship with the Most High, they end up walking out of there in 40 minutes.
Is it infrared sauna?
No, a regular sauna.
Oh.
Yeah, we're talking 160 to 190 degrees.
Wow.
So what I'm saying is, at a certain level, there's no such thing as emotion anymore. There's no such thing as fears anymore. There's no such thing as pain anymore. Because what you're going through in your mind is greater than what's going on around you. That's when your relationship with the Most High God hits a place where you understand that God is knowledge. He also called himself Alpha Omega.
Yeah, Alpha Omega. He's the beginning and the end. The beginning, Genesis, all the way to the book of Revelation, the end. And Matthew, Mark, and Luke are talking.
And he is, that is exactly what I believe. And that is what...
You can't tell me that Jesus is coming back because it would be stupid if
I didn't say that. What I said is that God is knowledge.
Well, God gives us knowledge. He gives us
like
knowledge.
I was saying, God is knowledge. And
yeah, He is.
He is knowledge.
He's knowledgeable, and so much so that...
And God is also mentioned to be love in the Bible.
Well, love means so many things. It's not a seal of approval or diamond rings. It means to me a very great deal. Trust and honesty in how you feel. The vows are sacred to be cherished and true.
Yes.
More than just the words I love you. So remember the words and what they mean, because love is to be felt and sometimes seen.
So God is knowledge. Yes, God is knowledge. And so at a certain level where ultimately where that God sets, knowledge and a level of focus into that knowledge is what matters. At a certain level, that's there. Now, biblically, people that have been doing light work, bringing to the light that knowledge on the earth, was created at the beginning of the Bible, at the time when God saw that light was good. Before that, that light was good. There was light. He saw the light. Then he said that light was good. Which means that there have been light workers working on that light has been working since that time. That specific thing, it's there. And that's what meditation is. It's light work.
You know, I'm a master. You know that, right?
23 times inside of the Bible is meditation mentioned. 23 times inside of the Bible they mention it. Plus,
The Bible is a wonderful experience. You know, as far as I can tell, and my experience has been one of learning to listen. One of learning to listen, because this what I've learned by listening is that the Spirit, God, teaches the truth in love. But I've noticed that
love is knowledge. So
man likes to take the words that God spoke in His Word, which is my spiritual food, because there's more that's being said than what's written in those in the book. You know, there's more that's being said than what's written there, because the fact that the written word has become the living word to me. I'm giving a testimony. If anybody wants to take their pants down and do a number on my testimony, feel free to do what you need to do, but let me speak first, and then you can do that, and then I'll leave, because I don't want to see any disgusting things going on. You understand how I feel, right? Because feelings are very important in a relationship. If you're going to have a relationship with somebody outside of yourself, that's one of the things that's going to be important in that relationship is feelings, because feelings are important to each one of us. And if
feelings
you
are a reflection of knowledge.
Are going to miss that person, because that person is speaking about something that they're going through. And if you don't have the ability to sympathize with that person or empathize with that person, you've never been in their shoes, so you have no business trying to throw some shit
and
down
understanding comes from knowledge.
I'm just saying, bro, you know, I'm just trying to keep it simple.
I am keeping it simple. I'm saying focus and knowledge and discipline exists as a reflection of motivation, meditation, and inspiration. It's as simple as your breath, your incoming breath, being a student and a teacher inside of yourself with the knowledge created by the Most High God.
I hope the way you're saying it works the way you're saying it, because my experience has been, from me saying it the way I think it should go, it always needed a little more lower of a position, and I'm thinking, how low can I go? And God says, well, it's down here where the people are. And I thought, okay. So I took my credentials that I had, and I went down lower, just because I care.
And I'm not saying you don't help people out to elevate themselves.
Right.
What I'm saying is, when you recognize what really exists, you can see where the mentality is, and you can help other people, which is inspiration, inspiring other people to see that place for themselves.
Well, this is
I was doing that and it is hard. That's why I said the hardest trait on the face of the planet to work with is self-honesty.
It's the hardest thing I ever experienced, is to die to myself. And that's the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
And I recognize that self-honesty is the hardest thing to do. Because you could be honest to everyone else, but what goes on inside is what matters. And the tools to get to that place where that knowledge inside lay come from your ability to focus to the point where you use the inner self to overcome the challenges around. And you can't do that unless you become best friends with yourself.
Well, if you don't love yourself, then you don't have nothing to give away.
And when I was driving, I saw and I asked a lot of people those questions in different ways, and I found that a lot of people didn't really have self-love.
Yeah, well, of course. It's hard to look at people actually love themselves a little too much in some cases, because of the fact that if you have a narcissistic kind of a thing going on, you kind of love yourself a little more than you actually love the people outside of yourself. And let me say something. Let me say don't even start, dude, because you're talking to the master.
Let me say one thing. Let me go ahead and say this. before this continues. A lot of people, when I say what I'm talking about, they think it's selfishness I'm talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about selflessness.
Okay.
Nothing more, nothing less than you are. Not
Okay.
needing to change yourself, but to be positive in the universe.
And that requires you taking time for yourself to be self, to put it on you, because you have been selfless, and now you're taking a selfish time so that you can deal with just a few things that you need to deal with. It's not that you're not being selfless, it's just that you're taking this time for yourself. And I think people can appreciate that part. And I think a lot of people don't take this time that I'm talking about. They continue doing the selfless thing when they need to take time for self.
There we go. And which is the reason why Reba, who was in the 24-hour fitness, recognized that she had neglected herself of that kind of time.
Okay, then that's acceptable. I would think that that's totally what's necessary.
That is the mentality of an able mentality, not a disabled mentality. Disabled mentality says everything is emotional and that we are not able to focus. So when a foundation is laid of focus, the ability to work through one's challenges becomes possible.
And the possibilities that you're speaking about already exist
inside of you. They
and
exist
they come in,
inside.
but they come in and out. They come in and out, and that's where you get to reach out and grab hold of that, whatever that possibility might be, whether it be your health, your wealth, or whatever situation.
All wealth is ultimately comes from mentality. All wealth, all angles of wealth, whether it's riches,
okay. Well, you're
health,
you're great.
all of it.
Wealth, wealth. I mean, to be wealthy, you can be like, you could have an appetite, right? Like for the finer things like lobster and porterhouse and stuff like this, right? And you could get these things, but if you're not willing to give other people what you get, what you're able to take from and not give, and not share with other people the same thing that you get, because of what somebody's dressed, because of the way they don't have no money or anything, then that would be favoritism. Oh, Jesus Christ. That would be favoritism. You'd be showing favoritism because of money. And money being the root of things,
so
would take you away from.
Yes. What I'm saying is that when you're just no other world, your own world. You are in your mind, you are going through your own challenges, and you're in a place where you're focusing, and let's suppose you're selling cars, for instance.
Dangerous. I'm dangerous, man. I'm dangerous. When I speak, it's like $1 million are flying out of my mouth. You know what I mean? It's like everything turns to gold.
I already sold cars for 2.5 years. I did it. I know that
it's cutthroat. It's cutthroat.
And that I focused on it, and what mattered was the level of focus to the depth. I had people walking in there buying cars and saying to me, I didn't know why I bought this car, but I bought this car because of you.
Oh, that's a cold slap in the face, ain't it?
So what I'm saying is that it comes down to the mentality of one giving themselves the ability to be truthful and honest with oneself. Now, the hardest trait on the face of the planet is self-honesty. So when one goes beyond the place of focus, which is the place, focus beyond focus, that's the inwards focus. The outwards focus is what people see. The inwards focus is the focus beyond focus. The knowledge inside is the knowledge beyond knowledge. Okay? So when we're focused beyond focus, knowledge beyond knowledge, discipline becomes a reflection of inspiration. So when you're wanting to help other people out to that level where you're using what you have, it's all about you working on yourself and allowing the things to move in your way that are meant to be there for you to be positive on your journey. And it's as simple as having a journey. We all have one.
You'd have to transition from the left side of your brain to the right side, and that's because of the fact that the left side of the brain is controlled by fear. You're being controlled by fear because if you don't do this or that, then the outcome of not doing this or that is not favorable. So you're being controlled on that side of the brain.
And that is slavery. And that lives below time and organization.
Well, that's because the 13th Amendment says that they abolished slavery. But what happened is they didn't abolish it. All they did is include the whole United States of America. So we're all a slave. But people don't want to accept the truth. But that's okay. But that's the truth.
The slavery is always going to be in the mind until the mind frees itself.
Well, that would be the starting point.
Until the mind frees itself, it's a slave. Until it can see past the emotion, it can see past the things and start to become the student and the teacher that we are inside of ourselves. Until the understanding inside of oneself that we are a human being, that we are actually a being in this universe, on a path, with a purpose, with a place for us to use what we do have and not what we don't have, and to embrace those things that we're good at, and I mean positive in this universe.
Yeah.
Then we're disabled.
Well,
This is the practice of motivation, meditation, and inspiration. That, what I'm talking about right now, is the practice of the reason I ask myself that question every day.
Well, you've been on this for 2 hours, you said?
2 hours and 16 minutes.
Man, this is you're going for the record now, huh?
I did 7 hours one day.
7 hours, but you didn't do it like this.
No, but this is a wonderful conversation here, and wait, I must get going on my way. But realize, just ask simple question: is what I'm doing today motivation? Is what I'm doing today meditation? Is what I'm doing today inspiration? If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. And let those things that are not those three things move out of the way on their own. Because God is inspiration. God is motivation. And God is a place where you can meet with Him in meditation.
Yeah, I would say, you get along with God and His Word, and you get to learn all about what happened when there was time. When there was time, that's what He talks about. You said the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning, Genesis, the end, Revelation. So that's what God's going to teach you, the beginning to the end. And you're going to find that this religious system that you were born into, it already existed, just like God already existed. And He's here to tell you the truth, not lie to you. So as you're on your journey, God bless you.
God bless you too, my brother. In this world, we are a people of positivity towards the Most High God.
Yeah.
And it says, glory, glory be to the Most High God.
That's right, because you were illuminated, bro, with glory. That's why you do it so good, okay?
All right, blessings, my friend, and we'll talk again, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. God bless you, man. Thank you.
All right, blessings, man.